Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Irene and my DIY Life Diaries, and today I'm going to be making Christmas ornaments out of feathers. So let's get started. The first ornament that I'm going to be making is an angel wings decoration. First I'm cutting the template out of cardboard. You'll find links for all of today's templates in the video description box as usual. The template should be placed on the cardboard so that the corrugation runs parallel to the axis of symmetry of the wings, that is, from the top to the bottom. Then I'm making the wings voluminous using aluminum foil. I'm adding kind of full sausages to the upper part of the wings and then adding more foil to make the overall shape more smooth. Finally, I'm bending the wings along the corrugation to make them more convex. This is why the direction of the corrugation was so important. Then I'm covering the base with fabric. Any white fabric or fabric in the color of feathers, if you're making colored wings, will do here. I'm using white cotton. I'm covering each wing with hot glue and attaching the fabric to it. Then I'm cutting the fabric along the contour with half an inch of allowance. I'm cutting this extra fabric in several places and hot gluing it to the other side of the wings. Similarly, I'm hot gluing the fabric on the other side. After that, I'm cutting it off along the edge. So I've got the base covered with fabric. Then I'm making a suspension loop. I'm using a golden thread. You can also use a narrow satin ribbon. I'm hot gluing the loop onto the wings, and now it's time for feathers. For covering the wings, I'm going to be using two types of feathers. Those that actually look like feathers, I think these are goose or chicken ones, and feathers consisting only of down. These are from ostrich or marabou. I'm not sure about the origin, frankly speaking, but this is not so important after all. The main thing is that you will need feathers that look like feathers for the tips of the wings and down feathers for the top of the wings. I had both feather types in one set, but it might be easier to buy two separate sets with different types of feathers. I'm beginning by hot gluing the base from the tips of the wings, and I'm attaching feathers here in a small row, trying to imitate real plumage. I'm covering both the front and the back of the wings with feathers. After that, I'm moving up and hot gluing the second row of feathers. Then I'm switching to down feathers. In fact, my wings ended up mostly covered with down. I really like how down looks in such decorations. In order to cover the wings evenly, I'm cutting feathers into pieces about an inch long. Here the problem arises of how to hide the spine of a feather. It's often quite thick and well seen. This is how I've solved this. I'm hot gluing a piece of feather to the base, then I'm adding a little hot glue along the spine and immediately collecting the down from the edges of the feather and pressing it to the spine. The down folds to the middle and hides the spine. I'm attaching feathers moving from the bottom to the top, and I'm also attaching pieces of down feathers along the upper contour of the wings across the main direction. This creates a neat and a very fluffy top. To make the ornament more festive, I've applied a little hot glue onto the tips of the wings and also into the center, and I've sprinkled it with silver glitter. And finally, I'm attaching several transparent beads. Such ornament is rather popular for decorating a Christmas tree. I have ready-made ones as well, but as you can see, this ornament is quick and easy to make yourself. You can even make a wings garland. They look very delicate and airy. The next ornament is a swan. I've also made the template for it out of cardboard and I'm hot gluing the foil over the template. If you feel confident in your sculpting skills, you can make a foil base without using the template. It's not difficult to mold a swan. Well, and I do use the template and I'm hot gluing the foil onto one side first so that the figure becomes voluminous and then working on the other side just like this. Don't forget to make a little knob on the top of the beak, because swans have it. I'm covering the finished base with fabric. It's better to use stretchy material here so that the neck and the head do not get too thick due to the folds on the fabric. I'm using a stretchy mesh here. I'm trying to wrap the whole base and make no folds in about the same way I covered the foil bases with ties when I made sisal Christmas ornaments in last year's video. I'm adding a ribbon loop onto the back of the swan. Next, I'm going to decorate the head and the neck. I've decided to try micro beads and I'm attaching them using clear medium as an experiment. You can also use glitter and glue or gloss varnish. I'm covering the head and the neck with the medium and then sprinkling it with the micro beads. White glitter will also look great here. By the way, the medium didn't hold the micro beads very well, so I had to make a second run using gloss varnish, and then it turned out to stick the beads well and firmly. Then I'm going to attach feathers to the body of the swan. I've had very beautiful ostrich feathers, but having tested them on the swan, I've declined this idea. They've looked a little out of place, so I've got my ordinary fluffy feathers. I'm hot gluing them along the body, tips pointing to the tail, hiding the spine if necessary, like I did on the angel wings. I'm smoothing the beak using some putty. You can also coat it with hot glue and gently shape it while the glue is still soft. After drying, I'm applying gilding glue onto the beak and covering it with a piece of gold leaf. You can leave the beak as is, golden, just cover it with gloss varnish, and I'm painting it with glass paint to get a deep red color, just like I did on my pumpkin ornaments. I'm going to decorate this one with a couple of pendants. I'm assembling a bead, golden stamens and a pendant heart onto a ball pin and attaching it to the swan's chest. You can also use an old jewelry pendant you're not wearing anymore. I'm assembling one more pendant out of several pearl beads and putting it onto the bottom to get an eerie movable pendant. An earring can be also used here. And finally, I'm hot gluing the crown onto the swan's head. Next, I'll finish the knob on the beak. I'm covering it with glue and dipping the swan in black glitter, then brushing away the excess. And of course, I'm drawing the eyes using black paints. I love this swan princess. I think thanks to the use of jewelry pendants, the ornament looks very expressive and high-end. Best is to place it over a Christmas tree in front of fairy lights to get it illuminated from behind. This will emphasize the eeriness and sophistication of the plumage. And the third decoration that I'll show today is a peacock. According to the steps already shown today, I'm cutting the template out of cardboard and covering it with foil from both sides to get a three-dimensional base. I'm attaching a piece of a toothpick for a beak. I'm going to make a turquoise peacock. Do you remember this wonderful velvet from last year's ornaments? I just can't get enough of it. By the way, a great way to keep the color scheme when decorating a Christmas tree is to use the same fabrics for different ornaments. For example, this peacock will combine perfectly with the hot air balloon, which I did last year. I'm covering the base with velvet. First I'm working on the back and cutting it off with about an inch of allowance. Then I'm folding and hot gluing the allowance to the other side, as I did on the angel wings. And finally, I'm hot gluing another piece of velvet to the tummy to finish the base. I'm going to decorate the seams later. Wherever the edge sticks out a little, I'm hot gluing the velvet, and if glue is going out, I'm applying some velvet pile on it. This makes the seam almost invisible even now. Then I'm going to be making the tail. Here I'm using feathers of two colors, turquoise to match the velvet and blue. I'm taking a piece of wire about 20 inches long, folding it in half to make it stiffer and hot gluing the feathers onto this double wire. The feathers I have are slightly curved and I'm placing them wrong side up, so that they fall in beautiful curls. I'm alternating rows of turquoise and blue feathers, covering the tips of the previous row with a new layer. In the end, this looks like a kind of long feather duster. When the length of the tail is looking sufficient for me, I'm cutting the wire, leaving the tips off about a couple of inches and sticking them into the peacock, well, you know where. The wire will hold well in the foil, and I'm also hot gluing everything in and additionally covering the place of attachment with a few more feathers. I'm also gluing a couple of feathers onto the sides for wings. Here I'm hiding the spine of the feather with down from the feather sides, as I have already shown. Now for embellishments. I've bought rhinestone stickers at Dollar Tree. I'm picking off the rhinestones and hot gluing them onto the tail feathers. Just wanted to add some sparkle here. I'm also decorating the back of the peacock with rhinestones. I'm making a mask around the eyes, which are not here yet. I'm covering the right place with hot glue and sprinkling it with gold glitter. In addition to the decorative function, there is also a practical one. This is how I'm hiding the seams on the velvet. Similarly, I'm coating with glue and glitter the seams on the tummy. I've also decided to add a little more sparkle along the edges of the tail feathers. The main thing here is not to overdo it, as I want to keep it very delicate. I've remembered that a peacock should have a crest, so I'm hot gluing another small feather to the peacock's forehead. I wanted to achieve the effect that velvet is embroidered with rhinestones and pearls on the back of the peacock, so I am additionally embellishing the back with pearl effect paint. And then I'm contouring all the rhinestones with bronze contour paint, as if the rhinestones are in a setting. This makes plastic rhinestones look like noble antique jewelry. I'm drawing eyes using black paint. And now for the halter. I've thought for a long time what to use as a halter. I didn't have anything suitable around the house, and in the end I've decided to use a vintage halter from an old Christmas tree ornament. I'm sticking the pins of the halter into the foil and masking it with a piece of velvet, and I'm also hiding the seams under the glitter. And finally, the beak. I'm also coating it with hot glue and sprinkling it with glitter. This peacock will look great on the very top of a Christmas tree, so that the tail hangs beautifully. By the way, you can bend it as you like, and it can be made even more lush and long if you have a large tree. By the way, such a bird can be made in red and gold colors, representing a phoenix. I think this will be a great idea for a Harry Potter themed Christmas tree. By the way, in turquoise, the peacock looks amazing over a white Christmas tree.
Please let me know what you think of today's project down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!